We mainly do new construction, and specifically modern lakeside homes. Are sort of an updated version of the classic lake house and cabin. And we do everywhere from spec to sort of semi-custom all the way to custom homes for our clients. We estimate about 6 to 8 a year, and we'll probably fold in 3 to 4 maybe larger remodels in that as well. So Instagram ad, because most of us are kind of on Instagram, and saw that it had a 2-week free trial, which was great. So I jumped in, figured 2 weeks, let me play around. Let me see if this is a tool for me. As I started playing around a little bit, I would realize that I could just hop on if I got stuck to a video tutorial and answer those questions for me. So on my time and on my schedule, I essentially learned it myself. And I don't think I ever reached out to an actual person to answer a question as far as my learning curve and my learning arc for Buildxact. So that once my 2 weeks is over, it was really a no-brainer for me to become a subscriber. I mean, primary reasons for me is, I knew that a platform had to exist that could handle the majority of my needs in one program. Too often I find myself working across multiple platforms to handle these tasks. And it didn't take long for me to see the benefit of having all my admin run through Buildxact. We're, kind of the classic design build firm. It's 2 of us, me and my partner, 2-man operation. He handles a lot of the design side, being that's what his education and his trade experience is. I handle a lot of the admin, and we both oversee the total construction. So majority of the material ordering is on me. That's part of my job. Certainly that's something that Buildxact has helped me quite a bit in, especially with the great takeoffs that I can now do in Buildxact. Majority of the stuff we order, thankfully we're in a big enough area like Dallas where majority of the supplies are available. We have multiple suppliers for multiple categories. It's a mix of specialty suppliers and big box. A lot of times we will order through a Home Depot or a Lowe's. And then if there's something that's, like I said, more of a specialty type item, we will find that supplier in Dallas. Price is obviously always going to play a role. But at the end of the day, we're in a people business. So if I've got a good relationship with a account manager or a sales manager, that is going to be priority for me, because I have realized through the years that manager, that account person, that sales manager, taking the time to understand what I'm looking for and what I'm looking to do has ended up saving me more time and more money than if I went and just tried to price shop. So at the end of the day, it's still relationship business. And I don't see that changing even with the onset of technology. Now, in saying that, there are some suppliers here that I don't necessarily have a dedicated rep for, but anytime I call in, that level of service is managed very well. So that's going to be a supplier, once again, where I may not call Ralph or get Ralph every time, but they have trained that staff adequately enough that I know I'm going to get a great level of service. Timing is big for us. We have found that a lot of our material purchases have moved away from calling in or emailing and have moved to more online ordering. Online has played a big role for us because that is the ultimate immediacy for me. It's pricing, it's availability, it's shipping times. I can see it all up front, and especially when we're dealing with semi-custom and custom homes. Typically a lot of change orders, a lot of material selection changes. If I could order everything online, I probably would. And that's maybe me being a little bit of a younger generation builder who kind of grew up on Amazon and grew up on Amazon Prime and grew up on why can't something be here in 2 days? Grew up on why don't I know pricing and availability right now? If I could order everything that way, I would. The ones that are good are great, and I don't know necessarily if I could think of something specifically that they could do a little bit better. I think maybe what their companies could help them do their jobs better would be big for me, is where I think the improvement could happen. I really dislike sometimes calling in for a basic commodity item and then have to get a call back 2 to 3 hours later. That doesn't make any sense to me. This isn't a custom item. I'm not ordering some specialty. and I almost feel like a lot of the quoting systems or just computer systems that a lot of these suppliers use maybe feel antiquated, where someone can't just pull up pricing and tell me over the phone or respond on an email within a couple hours. So the personal side of it, I have some great people we work with. I just feel like the back end systems of some of these companies still feel clunky. Nothing specifically that's going to be, here's kind of how we approach some of these specialty items. And I think it probably answers question 1 and question 3 on this. If it's not something I need to buy in bulk or I need to necessarily aggressively price shop, or it's specialty, I will more than likely either get it from a large box retailer if it's a one-off item, and that's mainly just based on availability, or I will try to order it online if I can. Even an item that was traditionally probably not purchased through one of the big box retailers, let's say the lumber for a house, I'm getting ready to place a lumber for a new project we're starting. I will more than likely probably purchase that through one of the big box retailers. I can see their availability. I feel like their lumber prices are great. I can order without having to talk to someone. I know if I'm going to be short an item. I can price shop between a couple different roof sheathings if I need to in real time, and have availability play a role in that as well. Order the whole thing and then get it shipped. And I never talk to anyone. So that's amazing to me. I mean, the fact that I'm not waiting on a call back or waiting for someone to give me pricing. I'm done. That order is completed. I know, and I'm going to get a confirmation email telling me when the delivery driver is going to be there. And I've moved on to something else. If we get into doors, this is something I'm seeing happen a little bit more, especially on some of these semi-custom homes. People are starting to kind of shop on their own a little bit for doors. So they will go to a builder surplus-esque sort of supplier or store, and start speccing out there. So we're finding ourselves that customers are starting to kind of shop around on their own in some of the retail outlets. Another one for tile, starting to find that's happening a lot more, where they're starting to, if I give them an allowance, they know what the allowance is, they're doing a lot of their own shopping on it, and we'll just buy through them. I mean, Floor and Decor has got huge selection, and they have multiple locations. So even if we have a client in Austin, they're more than likely going to have a Floor and Decor there that they can go look at it. It almost becomes a de facto showroom for a lot of clients. I have been using it for change orders recently, which I don't know why I didn't do that a month ago, especially when we're talking about, I sent you a change order and then we changed the change order, being able to go back and reference that or alter that, as opposed to completely redoing one, has been great. So we're slowly getting into the client portal side. I would say that my journey with Buildxact has started with the estimates and takeoffs. That was kind of the first block. And second one's gonna be change order and client integration. And then third is going to be the final piece, which is the trade suppliers and subcontractor integration. That's kind of how I see my arc with Buildxact, totally folding it into my business. As much as I like speaking with suppliers and working with them, and if I have a question, it's nice to know that I can call someone. But as streamlined and as frictionless as I can make a purchasing transaction, almost regardless of size or scale, the better for me. And once again, I don't think that's just me because I grew up of the internet, and I have that expectation of how frictionless a purchase should be. I think it's just the way the world is moving. If we can do this all online or all through Buildxact, my diminished scale as a buyer doesn't really matter. And I feel like I'm almost getting the same level of service as the big production builder. And to me, that feels like it's kind of equal in the playing field for me. It doesn't make me, I understand when a sales guy doesn't get back to me for a day because there's 10 other builders who buy a lot more through him. I'm not a priority, I understand. So to me, that I was like, wow, I'm on the same playing field as these guys now, and that's great. once again, I keep talking about kind of frictionless, but just
Mhm.
here's the quote, it's accepted, let's move on, let's order the materials. And I'm not bouncing around with tabs on my phone, doing it. Like if I can just get streamline that all while I stay in Buildxact, absolutely. There's certainly a lot of times a difference between estimated cost and actual cost. Um, Trying to get those two to be aligned is a priority. So I feel like having all of that in Buildxact will help me get those two costs closer together. You know, Buildxact in general kind of does the same thing, which is it gives me confidence to know that I've got my ducks in a row. And that confidence allows me to take on more projects and complete them successfully. That confidence allows me to hopefully bring fewer stresses home with me, and really work on that work-life balance, which is a priority for me. We have our foot on the throttle. We can kind of decide how fast we want to go and how far we want to go, and how big we want to be. And I know certainly for me and my partner, there is a finite size to us. We still want to be able to come home and have a night with our family, have weekends with our family, but we want to grow a business at the same time. And those are two very polar opposite things. So for Buildxact, for me, and what you're doing with the supplier integration, once again, gives me that confidence that I can take on more projects, but still sleep well at night. Thank you for listening to me, listening to a smaller builder, asking us questions, and continue to, evolve Buildxact. I love it, and I look forward to seeing what it becomes.